In this episode, we answer to our first request from the comments in YouTube.
Cope with the distance. Business advices from a CEO on how to start your business from daily life events. Click like and subscribe to promote this video and channel.
After my video on the Tube-Tech MMC 1A, I got a request to basically show a little bit more of it as I understand it, so I'm happy, and I've played with it and know a little bit more of it. So let's try to go through my vocal chain. So my goal is to have the purest sound possible for before to get into digitalization. So before to be transformed into digital form, I want to amplify and work on the sound as much as possible in the analog forms to respect the best sound possible. So one thing that you might have noticed since the last video is I exchanged both machines. I put the audio interface underneath the Tube-Tech. I put the Tube-Tech on top because it creates heat because of the tubes, and it was about to boil my audio interface, so I just switched them and everything is totally fine now. So I'll repeat my audio gear just to make sure that you understand what you're hearing. It's a Neumann mic, TLM I think 103, with Mogami cables all over. It goes in a Tube-Tech MMC 1A channel strip composed by a preamp and a multi-compressor. There's no EQ, the multi-compressor replaces the EQ. And it goes afterwards into a RME Fireface 802, an audio interface, a sound card that transformed into digital signal, and it's sent directly into Ableton Live. There's no plugins applied to the sound that you hear right now. It's the purest possible, so you can hear the gear. So let's try to play a little bit with the what interests us here. It's the tube channel strip. So this is what gives the sound a flavor. So the preamp here is interesting. I didn't remove the 20 dB here because I want to get the maximum threshold. I want to get the best compression possible. Why? Because when you compress in this machine, it doesn't affect much the sound, but it brings up front the details of each band, of each frequency band. So this is the low, the mids, and the high. Now, a very interesting switch that I found is here, the impedance. And basically what it does, you'll see you have 60, 1200 and 2400, and it changes the position and the mix of your channels. So right now I'm singing, and by using the impedance I'm able to position the sound either in the low mids, the high mids, or the high frequencies. Or you could say the mid-mids, the low-high, and the high-high. It's hard to say, but please listen and see if there's a difference. So I'll do 600, then 1200, and then 2400. Listen. Again, 600. It's subtle, and I don't know if YouTube compression will get that, but I put it on 2400 because I used to, and I like to have my voice in the mid and high frequencies as much as possible. Having that said, when it comes to the setting of this, I put the threshold at max for all of the bands, the frequencies, but I boost the most, I compress the most in the mids to boost my voice, and I don't push too much the height because the RME interface is already very effective with the high frequencies, and a little bit on the low, so I push the gain of the bass, but not too much, because I don't want hear my voice on this channel strip to blur with the mix of the track that it will go on to. So if there's a lot of bass in my voice, it blends a little bit too much with the sound of the track, and it's not pleasant to listen, and the voice is kind of blurry in the mix. So that's how I use the impedance setup. Now the compression, I will try to make it easy for you to hear the compression. So you have here the compression on the lows, that the low frequencies that are applying well. In the manual, they says you must set the compression to reach the number 10 here. So you can see when I speak, I'm not reaching that level. But if I speak loud, I will reach that level, and that means that it's set okay. Now let's see if I can reach the compression of the mid frequency. So with the pulsive a little bit, maybe if I go in the high, oh 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 ho 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 ho. Now with threshold, ho 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 ho. Without threshold, ho 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 ho. With threshold and compression, ho 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 ho. Let's try with the mid now, the mids. La 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 la. Without compression. La 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 la. With compression. La 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 la. So you can feel that the compression smooth a little bit the edges. Let's try with the high frequencies now with compression. La 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 la. Without compression. La 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 la. La la la. With compression. La 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 la. It's subtle, but it can really smooth the sound of what you're having and bring the details up a little bit. Now, the main thing has been the impedance that can really affect the position of your track, you know, the channel, that the audio track that you get from the channel for your mix. So before to record with the MMC 1A, I will definitely have conversation with producers in order to know what they want, where they want to position my voice, in this case, in their mix. After a few months of trying this machine, I'm extremely impressed and highly satisfied. It's an amazing voice for me. I don't necessarily appreciate the sound of my voice like many others. So, but in this, it's less unpleasant for me. I feel that there's much more going on, and I try to play with gears and effects the more and more to reach the sound that I want with my voice, as well as practicing, which is the best thing to do. So that's my voice my voice change, my audio chain for my voice. Yeah, one thing I realized is I used to cut 20 dB to remove the background noise. And actually this machine is actually very silent, so it doesn't grab that much background noise with the setup I have. So I don't have to boost it much. And you can see that the compression works already, and I did a previous video, one of the early episodes on this machine, the MMC1A, and I barely had compression, and I kind of didn't panic, but I was not comfortable, and realized that by cutting the dBs, I was cutting basically the compression as well. So now I don't put this, I leave the full information, and the sound is closer to what I want and I'd like to have. In business, like in chess, like in winemaking, like in music, always have a strategy to reach the results you want. It doesn't come easily, and you have to focus on many details, a suite of operations sometimes, and efforts. So for instance, in music, one aspect is for me is to get equipment that allows me to grow faster and to perform better. This equipment I learn to operate and to play with, and I learn how to sing to get the best results for my singing through it. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect I have is practicing. I need to practice at least 1 hour per day to train my voice, my vocal cords, so they can be a little bit more muscular, more in control of the sound. All this because I have a plan, I have a strategy, and I execute it. I'm not improvising every morning what I will do. I try to optimize. And in business, this is important to do.